Pakistani Asylum Seeker has won £100,000 for, quote, being treated like a criminal, despite being here illegally.
Nadra Almas came to Britain on a student visa, which expired in 2004. After her student visa ran out, Almas made repeated attempts to stay in the UK. With no official approval, she was in limbo, with the government failing to deport her in a timely manner. But on reporting to an immigration centre in April 2018, Almas was handcuffed, told she was going to be flown back to Pakistan, and detained at Yarl's Wood Removal Centre for 2 weeks. She launched a series of appeals, claiming that her supposed Christian faith meant that she was at risk of persecution in Pakistan. After about 3 years, she was eventually granted refugee status, because the British government basically allows anyone to stay in Britain on taxpayer money. During that time, she was not allowed to travel, work, or claim any benefits. So now she's won compensation totaling just over £98.5 thousand, or roughly $123,000, claiming that the conditions she faced breached her human rights. She was placed under conditions that she said made her feel like a criminal. Overstaying in the UK is a criminal offence under Section 24 of the Immigration Act 1971. To sum it up, a Pakistani comes to the UK on a student visa, deliberately overstays, makes an asylum claim, has that claim rejected, makes a load more claims, and eventually receives asylum. Now, the British government, which has too generously given her a place to stay, is being sued by this ungrateful criminal for £100,000 of taxpayer money. Compare that to what's happening in America.
The president is open to deporting individuals who have broken our nation's immigration laws. So if they are here illegally, then certainly he is open to deporting them. And that's what this administration is hard at work at doing. We receive data from DHS and from ICE every single day. From what we hear on the ground, ICE agents are feeling incredibly empowered right now because they actually have a leader in this building who is supporting them in doing their jobs that they were hired to do, which is to detain, arrest, and deport illegal criminals who have invaded our nation's borders over the past 4 years. That's what the president is committed to seeing.
Now let's hear what the British judge has to say about this Pakistani migrant.
The Home Office had no reason to believe that she would abscond at the time, and they showed a reckless disregard for her rights by making sure she could not claim state benefits and was restricted to the limited sums paid to asylum seekers.
What about the rights of the taxpayers? The hard-working and law-abiding British citizens who are forced to put up with people overstaying visas or entering the country illegally and now getting record levels of compensation. Is funding hotels and handouts for these illegal criminals a rightful use of taxpayer money? In the last 5 years, a total of £53.2 million has been paid in compensation for 2,222 people who brought successful cases against the Home Office for illegal detention. In 2017, a Somali criminal, Abdul Rahman Mohammed, then aged 39, was awarded nearly £80,000 after the Home Office admitted his illegal detention. Initially granted asylum status in the UK, Mohammed was jailed more than a dozen times for crimes including affray, knife possession, and multiple assaults and robberies. Thus, he was detained and scheduled to be deported. However, his lawyers brought the case to the European Court of Human Rights, which ordered that he stay in Britain despite the British government's attempts to deport him. Then, it was ruled that he was unlawfully detained while officials tried desperately to deport him. Despite describing him as a prolific and violent offender, Judge Edward Pepperell awarded him £78,500 in compensation. In a description described as an ironic understatement in court, Mohammed's own lawyer had said he might not be considered an asset to society. The judge said, "I can well understand why the Home Secretary might wish to deport him." But Judge Pepperell ruled that Mohammed had been falsely imprisoned and was, quote, entitled to justice in a civilized society. While this may sound insane, this problem goes deeper than the surface. We have to look at the British lawyers and judges who enable such lunacy to happen. Starting with Britain's top man, Prime Minister Keir Starmer. In 2003, he represented some asylum seekers. The court's decision in that specific case mandated that the government provide accommodation and financial aid to asylum seekers at risk of poverty, regardless of how long after they arrived in the UK that they actually claimed to be asylum seekers. Starmer represented a group of illegal migrants who did not claim asylum status as soon as possible and were thus denied access to free taxpayer-funded accommodations and financial handouts. The argument was that the government's policy breached fundamental human rights, particularly the right to be free from inhumane and degrading treatment as enshrined in Article 3 of the European Convention on Human Rights. Once again, there's no regard for the right of the taxpayers to not fund foreigners and illegal aliens. All over the country, Britons are struggling with the cost of living and housing crisis, while the Home Office sinks another £100 million to fund migrants. Keir Starmer holds at least partial responsibility for public money being wasted on these economic refugees. One of Starmer's colleagues, Britain's current Attorney General, Lord Hermer, took on a case by an Eritrean man who claimed to be a child migrant. British immigration staff thought he looked to be in his mid-20s, and Italian authorities later reported that the man had told them he was 26. Hermer argued that age verification checks can be wrong. He ultimately lost the case. While they might claim that they are just doing their jobs, should these lawyers who are willing to help anyone not just stay in Britain, but also claim as much compensation as possible, be trusted to serve the interests of Britons in key political positions? Last year, a Labour councillor of Islamic beliefs advertised her legal services to help illegal migrants in the UK online.
Hi listeners, Iram Ali here, immigration solicitor. Are you in the UK without a valid visa? Are you illegal or have you overstayed your visa? Do not fear, Iram Ali is here to help you regularise your visa in the UK and submit an application to the Home Office based on your human rights. It is extremely important to make sure you become legal in the UK. There is an extremely hostile environment for overstayers here, so you must make sure that you can submit an application to the Home Office, become legal and be en route to indefinite leave to remain. So contact me, let's have that conversation and work out what needs to be done to get your stay here in the UK.
Can she be trusted to put the interest of Britons above illegal immigrants? The answer to that question is obvious. It's not just the greed of the supposed asylum seekers. It's also the army of lawyers and barristers that allow them to get away with such lunacy. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. We invite you to leave a comment below to tell us of your opinion on this matter.